Alrighty, folks. All right. I'm back. Going live on the TikTok, and then I am ready to roll. Ready to roll and ready to rumble. All right, I have to fulfill my oath to read a chapter a day of the Success Principles. So here we go for today. Stay motivated with the masters. Principle 37. Successful person realizes his personal responsibility for self-motivation. He starts with himself because he possesses the key to his own ignition switch. That was Kemmons Wilson, founder of Holiday Inn Hotels. So many of us today are trained by the media, by our parents, by our schools, by our culture, to have limiting, it's not possible, I don't deserve it beliefs. This early conditioning is often so ingrained that it takes continual external motivation to overcome the decades of negative effects and move toward more success oriented thoughts and attitudes. Attending a weekend workshop isn't enough. Neither is reading a book or watching a training video. What truly successful people do is listen daily to audio programs from the world's most renowned motivational masters. In the car, at home, and at the office, even if it's just for 15 minutes a day. Learn virtually anything you want or need to know. The average person commutes 30 minutes each way to and from work. In 5 years, that's 1,250 hours in the car. Enough time to give yourself the equivalent of a college education. Whether you're commuting by car or train, riding your bike, or going for a run, listening to audio or video recordings can give you the edge you need to excel in virtually any area of your life. And keep yourself motivated. Learn a language, learn management skills, learn sales and marketing strategies, learn better communication, learn about holistic health, and more. You can even discover the success secrets of the world's most powerful industrialists, business titans, real estate moguls, and entrepreneurs. Just how motivating can the masters be in your life? There's also a comic here. It says, I listened to some motivational tapes while you were at work and decided to become a Great Dane. Dog was saying that. Hours and hours of listening. It all started when a coworker asked Elaine Foss for help with a fundraiser for the Fort Lewis Family Support Group in Tacoma, Washington. Between working full-time and finishing her BA, Elaine had no extra time to spend in the kitchen making something for the group's upcoming bake sale. Instead, she opted to quickly make and bottle the brightly hued, homemade salad dressing for which she'd perfected the recipe 2 decades earlier. Packaging her batch of raspberry dressing into recycled sterilized bottles, Elaine added a cute label and topped the bottles with raffia ribbon. Almost overnight, orders started to pour in. For the next 18 months, Elaine earned money for the troops by selling her dressing at additional bazaars and bake sales. Knowing she had a high-end niche product that was great tasting, low in calories, plus free of dairy, soy, salt, gluten, preservatives, and additives, she reasoned that her salad dressing was ready for a larger market. In fact, the dream of starting a business began to take form. Before Elaine took the plunge, she wanted to test the waters further by selling it at large farmers markets in Bellevue, Washington, Cannon Beach, Oregon, more than 2 hours drive in each direction. Maybe I can use the road time to gain insights on how to grow and expand my business, she thought. In her search for audiobooks, she discovered the Success Principles on CD at Barnes & Noble. After listening to the first disc, she was hooked. Each time she left her driveway for the long trek, she'd pop a disc into the player. By the time she reached the market, she would be energized. More often than not, however, the weather in Washington and Oregon made standing under a tent miserable. Torrential rains blew in, or 101-degree temperatures heated the pavement. Self-doubt, fright, and exhaustion sometimes crept in. But so did the lessons she learned from the Success Principles. Lessons like feel the fear and do it anyway. Visualize. Act as if. Go the extra mile. Instead of giving up, Elaine put those principles into action. She created beautiful displays. She put up great signage. She added the fresh flowers to her table. She greeted every potential customer with a positive attitude and a smile. And each time her drive to the Bellevue market took her past the local Whole Foods market, she'd tell herself, my product is going to be on those shelves one day. Sometimes she'd even stop and walk the aisles, repeating out loud her positive affirmation in the face of so much competition. Although she didn't know exactly how to get to her dressings into Whole Foods, Elaine knew she didn't want to go into debt, hire a broker, or pay for shelf space. Instead, she expanded her line to include blackberry, cranberry, and marionberry salad dressings, as well as organic versions of each one, all the while focusing on her Whole Foods dream. Soon she was negotiating distribution in more than a dozen other stores and saw increasing online sales too. And then it happened. Message on her answering machine. This is Denise from the Whole Foods corporate office in Bellevue. I hear you have a product we're interested in. It worked. It actually worked. Elaine thought to herself. All those principles paid off. When Whole Foods invited her to audition her dressings, Elaine set up everything she needed to make a good impression. As she handed a sample to Denise, she confided, seeing my dressings in Whole Foods is my goal, my dream. Denise's eyes widened as she tasted Elaine's dressing. Oh my gosh. You have 7 flavors? Elaine's dressings now stand proudly on the shelves of all Washington and Oregon Whole Foods stores, with distribution in California now under discussion. Of course, motivation is not permanent, and neither is bathing, but it is something you should do on a regular basis. That was Zig Ziglar, motivational speaker, author of See You at the Top. Where to get the best motivational audio programs? Find my list of favorite motivational audio programs and the suggested reading and additional resources for success on the companion website at www.thesuccessprinciples.com/resources, where we constantly update the list of recommended audio programs on success, wealth building, health, relationships, and more. I also recommend 5 audio programs that I produce to help you become more successful in every area of your life. Maximum Confidence, Self-Esteem and Peak Performance, The Aladdin Factor, The Success Principles, 30-Day Journey from where you are to where you want to be, and Effortless Success, Living the Law of Attraction. They are all available at jackcanfield.com. Here's another comic before we wrap up today's episode. He's on the phone by his car in the desert, and he says, I'm going to be late for work this morning. I was listening to my motivation tapes and suddenly found myself driving farther and faster than I ever imagined I could. Okay. With that, we should bid adieu to another chapter, The Success Principles. We will find ourselves next in Principle 38. Fuel your success with passion and enthusiasm. This chapter, this most recent one, was Principle 37, the one we just completed. Stay motivated with the masters. Alrighty, that should do it for today's episode and edition of the Success Principles. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to support the show. That means like, comment, share, subscribe. Donations Ben Stormer Show. Subscribe if you should be on YouTube. Follow if you should be on TikTok. Thank you for any and all support that this show should receive. Thank you all for watching. Sleep tight. Have a good night. I've been your host, Stormer Show, signing out and signing off. Thanks again for joining me for another edition of the Stormer Show, and I wish you all a wonderful